Ryan Garcia. Everybody that thought he was crazy like a fox, I guess. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. It's the J. Roos Theory. Make sure you hear me clearly. Turn your volume up. We got a lot to talk about the big fight yesterday between Devin the Dream Haney versus King Ryan Garcia. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way in and the thumbs up on your way out. Hope everybody's having a great, lovely day, a productive day. And yeah. So let's jump right into it. I'm gonna give y'all some more time to come on in. Come on in, y'all. The J. Roos Theory. You know I have to talk about it. Shout out to everybody that subscribed to me. USA to the UK, Jamaica, Scotland, Samoa, New Zealand. Of course, I got to give my shouts out to the different areas in San Diego, Southeast San Diego first, Chula Vista, National City, the South Bay, Encinitas, let's see, La Jolla, all areas in between. Shout out to Southeast San Diego, though. Shout out to Lincoln High. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Let me know what you thought of the Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney fight. First off, I DM'd the homie Kurt, and I said, you know, something's just telling me that Ryan Garcia is going to win this fight. I even said it on Tony's Reviews platform. Me and him both picked Ryan Garcia. I just thought Garcia had grown into his full man's body, you know. I thought when he fought Tank, he still kind of had that teenager body, and that's because he was weight drained. He was depleted of liquids. He said he didn't even have spit in his mouth when I saw the press conference after yesterday's fight. So if you're going into the fight that much depleted, it's going to be hard to win. Hold on, y'all. Back. But it's going to be hard to win if you got all those things working against you. Plus, you got Tank Davis working against you. So Ryan Garcia looked like he had the shoulders of a cruiserweight, maybe even a heavyweight. Bruce Gass, shout out to you, Bruce. Thanks for tuning in, man. What did you think of the big fight yesterday, Bruce? What did you think of that? Not too many people had Ryan picked. I was one of the few that picked Ryan. Showbiz did. I predicted that Ryan would knock Devin down, and I said, I don't know if he'll knock him out, but he definitely knocked him down. And there's a lot of people thinking that the ref was doing some funny business because, you know, the warnings and the point that was deducted and all that. You hate to see it, but you got to call it when it looks suspect. You know the saying, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's a daffy. But Ryan Garcia, man, that dude is very strong. I'm watching Showbiz, the adult today, the morning after. And he was showing an old clip of when Ryan Garcia hit, what's his name, Duarte or something like that, hit him in his tooth in the back, like his wisdom tooth or something, came flying out. Now, how does that happen when you got in your mouthpiece or your gum shield, as y'all say in the UK? Now, how do you knock someone's tooth out, especially a back tooth? I'm like, man, this dude can really punch. And then he showed another punch that was so fast, his left hook, that the camera didn't even catch it unless you put it in slow motion. You can barely see it in slow motion. And Ryan Garcia is talking about he's not fighting no more at 140. He said, I couldn't even get to one down from 143, and he tried everything. He said his next fight is at 147. He'll probably eventually even fight it in the high 150s, end up a middleweight. Ryan Garcia's got very broad shoulders, and he's got the build to carry the weight. And, you know, Devin Haney looked weight drained at the weigh-in. And, you know, I expected him to come in heavier, you know, of course, on fight night, because the dude is like, what did he come in against Prograis? Like 160 on fight night. So I'm like, if you come in 160 on fight night, I'm expecting him to come in at, you know, somewhere around that weight for Garcia. But I don't know if he actually did or not. I just know he got lit up in every aspect, and I feel like Ryan could have finished him. Do you guys feel like the ref should have stopped it? It was just a very impressive performance from Ryan Garcia from what I saw. You know, I still got to check out the whole fight, you know. I wasn't, I was like $69. I'm like, you know, my main thing is heavyweight, so I'm like, but you see my headband says dominate, and that's exactly what Ryan Garcia did last night. He just dominated. You know, he hurt Devin in the first round with a left hook. So how do you get hurt with the punch that you're looking out for? Oh, shout out to Thunders Productions. He said, "What's up, Jay Roos? I knew Ryan was gonna win. You picked Ryan too." Yeah, I had to go with the believer. I had to go with the Christian over the Muslim, you know. I'm a follower of Yeshua, so, you know, I had to go with Ryan on this one. And Ryan just I think he intimidated Devin. When I heard Devin at the press conference saying there's something wrong with this dude, I'm like, okay, Ryan's in his head. Like, it almost reminded me of what Cassius Clay back, you know, before he changed his name, did to Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston used to intimidate everybody with his quiet presence. And, you know, Ali was doing so much talking, it threw Sonny off. Thunders Production says, same with Christ, you can't lose. Absolutely. Shout out to you, man. Go subscribe to Thunders Productions, y'all. Go subscribe. You know, when you follow Yeshua, you can't lose, man. And it was just a very impressive performance. And I've never seen Ryan just dominate a top fighter like that. I was never one of those that was impressed with Devin Haney to begin with, though. I used to watch a couple of his fights, and I was like, never again. I said, his fights are just too dull. It's pretty much like watching grass grow. But, you know, I started watching him again. Bill Haney was on IG Live saying we outside, and, you know, this is going to project us to better things. And, you know, I love how Bill Haney loves his son. Don't like how he was putting out threats to Garcia's life. That's never appropriate. This is boxing. This ain't no street stuff. So I didn't like that. But, you know, Bill Haney's, you know, outside doing IG or live, whatever he was on. I don't know where Devin is at right now, but he's going to have to regroup, and he's going to have to move up in weight too. These guys are growing fast, and they can no longer make the 140, and it's just a strain on their body. You need to fight at a weight that's natural for you, so you can just work on your actual game plan rather than having it be a weight loss camp. But Ryan Garcia and, of course, Derrick James. Derrick James told Ryan Garcia at one point to stop playing with him, you know. And Ryan was just, how many times did Devin Haney go down? Was it like 5 or something, but 3 of them only got counted. And what's up with the judge that had it even? 114 to 114? This dude needs to have his license immediately revoked. How do you see a fight even where one guy goes down that many times? Makes no sense. So it's like Showbiz was saying, it looks like they were trying to rob Ryan. Even Tony from Tony's Reviews was talking about that. It's like they were trying to make sure that Ryan didn't win. Showbiz was talking about even YouTube took like 3 hours from his live stream, and he don't know why that is. So he's gonna try to get that back so everyone can see his reaction. But it was a lot of things working against Ryan, but there were some things working against Devin Haney too. It's called it's called a left hook, and I was starting to wonder before this fight, was Devin Haney like almost another version of Floyd Mayweather? Well, we see that's not the case. We see that's not the case at all. And the bad thing about being Devin Haney right now is that he doesn't have enough power to keep anybody off of him. So if you're the puncher like Ryan Garcia, you just go in there and pretty much walk this dude down like, well, he can't hit me. I see it harder for Devin to move up. Let me read the whole thing. I see it harder for Devin to move up. Let me wait for this to... I see it harder for Devin to move up. The lack of power is catching up to him. Yeah, that's the bad thing. That's just what I was talking about. When you don't have enough power to keep somebody off of you, and you're fighting a guy like Ryan Garcia, you're pretty much just doing a countdown until when it's time to go nighty night. Errol HL, shout out to you, man. Thanks for coming through. He says Haney rocked Prograis though. Yeah, I thought when he moved up, I thought, okay, maybe now we're gonna get to see some more power, you know. But I don't know. I think Ryan got in Devin's head a little bit with all the talk. He wasn't used to that. It says Haney rocked Prograis though, and I haven't seen Prograis hurt like that though before. Haney has some power, but it's more like it's like he has to catch you when you don't see it coming. You can't see it coming and have him hurt you. And there was a lot of holding, and you know that can only work for so long. The ref will take a point. Shout out to Trini. Ryan Garcia tells the world to save the children. He truly king of that boxing match. Waiting to read the Garcia worships the true Jesus. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why I had to go for Ryan. When you make it about Yeshua and another false religion, I got to follow Yeshua, like Holyfield Tyson, even with Lomachenko Haney, you know. And so, yeah. Yeah, man. But yeah, Devin Haney doesn't have enough power to keep somebody off of him. It's the problem Jake Paul's gonna run into when he fights Mike Tyson. You know, what's he gonna hit Mike with that's gonna keep Mike off of him? Mike's been hit by world-class fighters. And you could talk about the Roy Jones fight. You could talk about his last fight like 20 years ago. This is an inspired Mike. Mike Tyson wasn't really inspired in his last professional fight. So, you know, this is a different Mike. And this is a different Ryan Garcia. I think he made everybody take note of his performance last night. And I don't know if anybody will be too eager to step in the ring with Ryan. Oscar De La Hoya was saying that Ryan is the face of boxing. I wouldn't go that far, but he's definitely being talked about. Shout out to Adore, man. Shout out to you. He says too much holding in boxing is a huge turnoff. Yeah, that's not exciting at all. Adore says salute to you, man. Thanks for coming through. Chet Perry says my gut felt an upset. Just sorry I didn't bet. Was good, Jay Roos and Bruce. Hey, yeah, man. Yeah, I felt something. Something was telling me Ryan too, man. I was like, I feel like Ryan's gonna pull this off, and he did. Um, I think it's Haney's stance why he can't generate power. He has a very sideways and upright stance. He never pushes off his feet when punching. He needs to change trainers and hire Ben Davison full time. Absolutely, he needs to hire Ben Davison. And what you said is a good point about being too sideways. I used to make that mistake sometimes too. And Tim Witherspoon was saying how you got to kind of not square all the way up so where you're off balance, but you got to be have enough of an angle where you can actually connect to the guy flush. If you're so far in an angle, you can't even reach the guy because you're so far in an angle. But yeah, Ben Davison needs to work with Devin Haney full time, and Bill Haney needs to kind of control his mouth a little more. He's putting his boy into some deep water with all his talk. Is kind of putting pressure on Devin. So why put? It's already pressure fighting in front of the world, and then you're fighting a world class fighter. You don't need your dad out there, like egging it on and making things worse than they have to be. Boxing is the boxing ring is like a pressure cooker. Even with the press conferences, people don't know how stressful that kind of stuff can be. So you want to make it as relaxed as possible. You don't want to make it to where it's a lot of back and forth. Devin's got a mouthpiece on him. He can handle it himself. He's a big boy. He doesn't need his dad speaking up for him all the time. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. But everybody on the East Coast of New York got to see a good old California West Coast beating. That was a beating, man. I've never seen Devin Haney just like lumped up like that, and you know that can humble somebody real quick and make you rethink your whole team and strategies. Errol says only trains him part time till I meant to say change to full time. Yeah. Blu-ray says I was never confident in Haney, but still thought he'd win. Shout out to you, Blu-ray. Thanks for coming through. Something just told me that Ryan was gonna pull it off. And then when I just saw Ryan with his shirt off, I'm like, this dude looks like a middleweight. Like he just looks thick. And I'm like, he already punches hard. So, I was just like, keep all the outside stuff that he's been saying that, I did videos about, just stop talking, but that's just because I don't like to hear believers use foul language. So that's all I'm talking about. All the other stuff he said, you know, um, he knows a lot. He knows a lot, and he's not crazy. He's definitely not crazy. And I saw Mike Tyson go in there and greet him before the fight, and Ryan said he's going to Mike Tyson's fight, and he's got his support. I was looking at Ryan like this dude looks big as Mike Tyson or bigger. Ryan was looking diesel, man. He's grown into his grown man body. That's for sure. Speaking of Mike Tyson, y'all see that footage of him and Shannon Briggs meeting up in Brownsville with their shirts off and playing around shadow boxing? I think it's for a documentary because Riddick Bowe, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, and Shannon Briggs all grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. So it was cool to see them, man. But Ryan Garcia, man, we got to give him his props. We got to give him his props. Like I said, I don't know if Oscar De La Hoya is right about him being the face of boxing, but he's definitely in the conversation. Garcia only has one punch. Haney has no excuse. Yeah, that's the thing when a guy has limited punch. I think maybe he thought that Ryan was going to trick him because I even said I think Ryan's going to catch him with an overhand right. So he's probably like, nah, he's not going to throw a left hook. That's be too obvious, Captain Obvious. So he's probably looking out for the right and then yep, I should have looked out for the left. But shout out to my cousin Gary in San Diego. He picked Ryan too, you know. Um, I would love to see what changes Devin Haney can make should they have a rematch? Do you guys even want to see a rematch? When a fight's that one-sided, it's like, do we really need to run it back? Adore says heavyweight boxing needs to be put back on the map. I mean, I think it pretty much is back on the map. You know, we got Usyk Fury coming up. We just said Joshua Ngannou, Joshua Wileen, Parker Wilder. Now we got Zhang Wilder. I think it's pretty much back on the map. You know, I wish we had more of it. I wish they fought closer together. You know, that would be pretty exciting. Blu-ray says, "Yeah, you're right there, Jay Roos. I appreciate that, Blu-ray. Like I said, thanks for coming through. Um, it'll be interesting to see though what changes Devin Haney makes to his team, if any. You know, something has to change because, like I said, he's not a power puncher, and if he moves up in weight, the punches are going to be coming harder, and I don't know if his punching power will increase. So it's going to be hard for him, man. It's going to be hard. Like I always say, I wouldn't even box if I didn't have any power. Like I'm not going to just be in there and oh, Adore says I mean in America. Oh yeah, definitely needs to be put back in the map on the map in America for the heavyweights. Yeah, you're right about that. Shout out to Vlad Sarenko. We were texting each other this morning. I want to see Vlad on one of these cards in Saudi Arabia. That would be nice, nice. But I thought Blu-ray says I thought Haney had a good defense. Only saw him fight once though. Yeah, he's not the most exciting fighter in the world, and I'm just concerned for him because, like I said, I wouldn't even box if I didn't have any power. Because if you don't have any power, it's just like you have to go 12 rounds every fight, and it's gonna be grueling, and you're gonna be fighting guys that can punch, and you can't really hurt them with anything. So yeah, man, it's tough to say, and he can't keep staying at 140 because his body's maturing and he's getting bigger. So it's a tough situation for Devin Haney. I don't really know what he can do. And maybe he could try to sit down on his punches some more. That's the only thing I can think of, you know, punch through the target instead of trying to just touch the target. You know, that's the thing I'm thinking. My prediction landed. Show me the one. That's what's up. Blu-ray says true. He has zero power and poor defense. So of course Garcia had a chance. Yeah. Stallion Coy, I forgot the channel name of URS last night on stream. I told him about you. He said like you on stream one time. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Thanks, Stallion Coy in the building. Oh, speaking of shout outs, I got to give a shout out to my dude over at Sports Prediction 101. He did a whole video about channels he was giving trophies to that people should subscribe to, and he gave me a trophy. So shout out to Sport Predictions 101. You know, go subscribe to him. He had a channel before that, and he changed the name and started over. So go subscribe to Sports Prediction 101. And thanks again, man, for the trophy and mentioning me and acknowledging me. I appreciate that, man. You didn't have to do it, but you did it. So shout out to you, man. And he knows a lot about boxing too. So yeah, go subscribe to my dude. That was real nice of him, man. You got to appreciate the people in this on these platforms that are cool. Who should Garcia, Haney, and Shakur fight next? Man, that's tough. Maybe Garcia versus Tiafimo, and Shakur, maybe Shakur and Haney. You know, because neither one of those guys are real known for being punchers. So if neither one of those guys are punchers, then they don't have to, you know, fear so much of getting knocked out. Stallion Coy says he's got 1 million followers on Facebook. I was live giving my Garcia prediction. I'll link you later. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Appreciate that. For sure, man. 1 million followers. That's a lot of people. Shakur versus Tank Davis. I like both of them, man. I like Shakur, but Tank Davis just he can box and he can punch. A lot of people don't think Davis can box, but I've seen old footage of him where he's moving great and he looks very sound technically. So I got Davis. If you can box and punch, I mean, you really got something. So I got Davis, man. I got Tanky Tank. Like I said, I like both of them, but once again, you run into the problem of how you're going to keep the guy off of you if you have nothing to hurt him with. If you can't hurt him, then you're just kind of sitting there waiting to get your head handed to you. But Devin Haney learned last night. Blu-ray says, "Oh, Davis can box for sure." Yeah, man. I feel that Davis doesn't get enough credit for his boxing skill. And yeah, I'm gonna call him Davis. I'm not calling him his whatever name he came up with. I don't even know if he's still going by that, but yeah, he's Tank Davis over here. Yeah, Tank can box, so you know that was the dangerous thing about Lennox Lewis. He could box you or he could knock you out. That's why he remains one of the few people in boxing history to beat every fighter he ever fought. Great defense too. Tank's defense is good as well. George Adorace's George Foreman's son is making a comeback to boxing. I saw that. Yeah. Doesn't he go? Isn't his name Monk? Yeah, he hasn't fought since 2012. Maybe he's trying to do what his dad did, come back. Later in life, he's 40 years old or something like that. But he doesn't look 40, so I think he can do it. I'm not one of these people that write you off because you have a birthday. Stallion Coy, no worries. He gave me a plug, but I forgot the channel name. Where was you last night? He said he covers some boxing and basketball if you're interested. Oh, okay. All right. Stallion says the ref was corrupt last night. Never seen anything like this before. You want to see some corruption? Go watch Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, Eddie Cotton. That was some ridiculousness. That was crazy. Emmanuel Stewart spoke up after that fight. It's like all he did was warn Lewis. And even when Lewis would knock Mike down, you got the sense that he was trying to find a reason to disqualify Lewis for something. So I've seen some corrupt referees, man. It's a shame. You start to feel like referees like that might have had some money on the fight themselves. Never knew Foreman's son box. Yeah, man. I think he's got 16 wins, 16 knockouts, something like that. He's got his dad's genes, of course. So, I think he was calling out some of the top guys too. But of course, he's going to want to, work his way up since he hasn't boxed in what's that, almost 12 years. Stallion Coy says he was counteract knockdown by taking a point off. Well, what was that? Taking a point, no warning or anything. What was that about? How do you take a point without giving a warning? I mean, boxing, that's the thing that I hate about boxing is the lack of consistency. One fight, a punch might be considered below the belt. Next fight, hitting the same place, and then it's not below the belt. It's crazy. Blu-ray says he never knew Foreman's son box. Oh, I think I read that. Yeah, man. He's I'd like to see him, man. Puro in the building says Jay Roos. Go subscribe to Puro, y'all. Puro is in the building, y'all. Thanks for coming through. I appreciate that. Stallion Coy says, nah, bro. 3 knockdown ruled a slip plus glove touch canvas. Never called it a knockdown. I've never seen this man before. How did he get to ref this fight? Oh, Yeah, that's another good point. You start seeing referees that you never seen before. You're like, okay, I even heard some stuff about the NFL with certain referees. How do you not give a warning? And boxing's a hard enough sport without you having to work against the judges or fight against the judges, fight against the referee. That's insane. That's insane. People are gonna have to start investigating these referees, make sure they're not betting on the fights. Blu-ray says yes, a warning should be given. I agree. Yeah, I mean, you have to give a warning, man. You just have to. Quan Big Gun, shout out to you, man. Thanks for tuning in. He says, I bet 200 on Haney and still PO'd. What the was that? Yeah, that was they were looking for any reason to give it to Haney. It might be for all the controversial things that Ryan has said outside the ring. They're like, nah, they're scared. Even advertisers are scared of people that speak their mind. So, but they couldn't stop. They couldn't stop the beat down. No matter how much they wanted to, they couldn't stop it. Stallion Coy says, I've just spoken to a nurse whose son's only 14 years old and he's 6'2", heavyweight from UK. He's going to be one to watch. His name is Zach. Can't remember his last name, but I will get it. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's a big dude to be 6'2" at 14. Yeah, yeah, I hope he can stick with it. Charlene in the building. She says, hi. Hi to you, Charlene. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Did you check out the Garcia Haney fight last night, Charlene? Adore says, I'm trying to get George Monk Foreman 3 to train with Brian Bomack McIntyre and his boxing trainer. Do you think it's a good idea? Yeah, that would be great. I like Bomack. I like Bomack. I like Andy Lee. Of course, I like Ben Davison. Quan Big Gun says, what do you think was wrong with Haney? He looked average. I always thought Haney was kind of average to begin with, but, he kind of had me rethinking it because he kept winning, but I was never really that impressed with him. I think he was a little bit intimidated by Ryan because they'd already fought, 6 times or how much? Yeah, in the amateurs, 3-3. This was a tiebreaker. So I think he was a little bit intimidated by Ryan, and Ryan was very big last night. Size can intimidate somebody, especially when he felt his power. Ryan said, though, he got caught with a left hook, and he said, so Ryan admitted that Haney caught him, but Ryan didn't get knocked down, though. Puro says, although it wasn't best fight, I've seen worse. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen worse too. Oh, you saw it this morning, Charlene? Yeah, man. Ryan went in there and did his thing. He did his thing. Chet Perry says, me too, Jay Roos. Oh, that's what's up, man. That is what's up. Mark Morris in the building. Shout out to you. He says Garcia versus Ben are already. Oh, I hadn't thought about Connor Ben. Yeah, I don't know if Connor wants to step to Garcia right now. I was a big Connor Ben guy before the allegations and stuff, but he hasn't looked the same since he got busted for the juice, and I'm not talking about orange juice. Adore says, can Brian Bomack McIntyre train heavyweights? Yeah, I believe he can, because he was a heavyweight himself. He used to box. So, yeah, I believe he can. Stallion Coyson says, don't forget Derek James, the role he played on Garcia to win. Yeah, Derek James had to put up with a lot, didn't he? Yeah, Mark Morris is at 147 pounds. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Quan says, I think Haney should fight Campbell next. He needs to make a statement. That'd be a good matchup. Yeah, Haney needs to stay away from Ryan. And yeah, he needs to definitely make a statement, and he's got to figure out how to keep people off of him as he moves up in weight. He's going to have to start sitting down on his punches and figure something out, because people saw that performance and they're like, okay, he's looking like food right now. Blu-ray says everyone is mocking Jared Anderson. His opponent was very awkward, I think. Yeah, man. Even Tank was going at Jared. But Jared just needs to stay focused on boxing, man. He seems like he's more concerned with the money. And once you start doing that, you can get your lights put out. Chet says I'm convinced Usyk, Crawford, and Tank are the best of this current group. Definitely Usyk, Crawford, and Tank. They got to be in the conversation. Absolutely. Usyk is great. Crawford is great. Tank is great. And a lot of people don't like Tank's selection of guys he fights, but he'll end up fighting them. The people that demand it. He needs to go down and wait. Are you talking about Devin? Yeah, Devin should. I don't think he can though. Tony's reviews in the building says, yo, me and Tony, we were on his live stream the other night. Me and him both said that Ryan was gonna win this fight. Y'all pay Tony is $100. Me and Tony called it. Both had Garcia. So people that were getting all emotional about how Devin Haney was gonna do Ryan, I'm sure they're hiding from YouTube right now. They hiding on these YouTube streets. See what happened was see Haney had got sick, and then he had hurt his knee in training, so nah, stop. He got the brakes beat off of him. Ryan put hands all over that dude. Adore says Jared Anderson will become heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know. Mark Morris says at the moment I wouldn't have Tank as a great. He's got to fight some better dudes first. Yeah, I can agree with that. I said he was great, but I can see it that way as well. Adore says I would like to see Terrence Crawford versus Ennis. That might happen. Tony says, I'm on that rah-rah, pay me what you owe me. Exactly. Yeah, break yourself. We got Tony patting pockets. Tony's like 252, so y'all better not trip. If Jared does it for himself and not money, yes, he can be champion, but I don't know if I don't know if he can get off that money kick, man. Jared seems to be strictly in it for the money. Roy tried to talk to him, but I don't think it got through. Quan Big Gun says if Usyk beats Fury, then yeah, he will be at the TC level. Tank still needs a big fight. I can't put Tank up there with TC just from beating Garcia. Oh yeah, you got to go with Crawford over Tank just because he whooped Errol Spence. People were sleeping on De La Hoya, Mayweather, and B-Hop played in that game plan how to beat him. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was wondering if B-Hop and them kind of pulled Ryan aside and showed him some things of how he could get to Devin Haney. And like I said, I've over and over, Haney just doesn't have enough power to keep a big guy like Ryan off of him. I mean, if he hits you with his best shot and you're just like, oh, for real? You're just like, yeah, this is attack mode. I can play around, try new stuff out, do my shoulder roll. Like, you can do all kind of things when you know a dude can't hurt you. You just got to stay alert and make sure he don't catch you with a punch you don't see. Crawford's too big for Tank. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think Garcia called out Crawford recently. I'm like, no, Ryan, no. You don't want Crawford. No. Crawford's walking around at 180 right now, and it's a solid 180. Ryan's looking solid too, though. Ryan made a huge statement last night, and Devin Haney doesn't even deserve a rematch. That's how bad that beating was. In order to get a rematch, you got to show me something that's like, okay, maybe you're just, it was close. You just didn't get the nod. Nah, dude, you got the brakes beat off you. Who wins? So shout out to Ryan Garcia and his camp. His dad was mad after the fight. He was going off on certain people. Even Garcia was dissing Timothy Bradley and all them on what they said about him. Who would win, Terrence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, prime for prime? I got Terrence just because he can punch. Floyd punched in his earlier career, but then his hands got brittle, so I still got Terrence. I think Terrence figures you out. Floyd does too, but like I said, you got to have something to. Floyd has enough power to keep people at bay, but Terrence can put you to sleep. Stallion Coy says, let's not just focus on the beatdown. Look how he moved on the back footwork, how he turned Haney on the ropes. Even though Garcia was sloppy with hooks when missed, he was out of range to be hit. What he did last night was, I think it really messed with Devin Haney's head. I think they prepared for a different Ryan Garcia. They probably kept watching footage of the Tank fight, and he didn't fight like that. So they like the defensive moves that you're talking about and all that. I think it threw Garcia. I think they're like, what is this? But they should have known that he wasn't going to fight that same fight. For one, he didn't win that fight, so he's not going to come out and do those same moves that he did against Tank. So that's like boxing 101, man. But yeah, I think the size of Garcia might have intimidated him. All the talk outside the ring, I think, got to him. It's like Coach James says, people look at boxers like they're superhuman. They're still humans. They can not feel like going to work. They can feel intimidated like a regular human. They can feel scared. They have emotions just like the rest of humanity. So, I think some of those emotions were at play. And of course, you're not going to admit that because, it makes you look soft and you don't want a future opponent to hear you say them kind of things. The first power punch stiffened Haney up. He didn't look fluid at all, nervous energy. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. I think his nerves were getting to him as well. Into the new generation, Haney, Ryan, Shakur, Boots, etc., are extremely overhyped, minus like one or two. None, in my opinion, are at a level where, let me see. In my opinion, are at a level where a win is a sure thing versus one another. Yeah, I have to see more of Boots and Shakur definitely before I start mentioning them as world beaters. But a lot of people got, especially Boots, a lot of people talking about he's going to beat Terrence Crawford. I'm like, what are you basing that off of? I don't know. But yeah, they're still kind of in their infancy, so you gotta let them develop a little more. If Shakur just had some power, man, because he's an excellent boxer. Adore says, who would win, Anthony Joshua versus David Tua? Oh my goodness. I say a draw. It could go either way. It's almost like who gets caught. Blu-ray says, I had Haney avoided the left hook, he'd have won the fight. I think he was just out of his, I don't know, he was like out of it last night. But yeah, he definitely needed to avoid that left hook, man. A left hook from Ryan Garcia probably feels like a left hook from a heavyweight. I was just looking at Ryan at the post-fight press conference, He had on a loose button-up shirt, and I'm looking at his arms and shoulders through the shirt. I'm like, this dude is big, man. Puro says, facts, J. Roos. Yeah, man, you made some good points, Puro. Good points, man. But, yeah, man, I was looking at Ryan through the shirt that was loose-fitting. I'm like, this guy is solid, man. He's big. He's big. Tank versus Andy Cruz would be a fun fight. Shout out to you, Chinchilla. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, man, Tank. I just like watching Tank fight because you pretty much know you're going to get a knockout. Yeah. Cruz is, Cruz is tough. Stein says robbery in the Barbosa fight. If Ryan didn't get the decision last night, that would have been me in boxing for a long time. Yeah, I thought for a minute I was like, if they try to say Devin Haney won this fight after getting dropped as many times as he got dropped, I'm writing somebody. I'm protesting. You might see me outside with banners, dude. Like somebody needs to lose their job as a judge and referee if Ryan Garcia did not get the nod last night. That's insane. And he could have finished. He could have finished Devin Haney. Some people thought he felt sorry for Haney. I thought George Foreman felt sorry for Tommy Morrison because I was like, it seemed like he could have finished Morrison, then he took his foot off the gas. But the ring is no place for mercy, at least not in certain situations. But Garcia can move up easily because he's got the frame for it. And Devin Haney's got a frame to move up too, but I keep saying he don't have the power. So the more he moves up, the more dangerous it's going to be because you can't keep nobody off you. So he's just going to be getting clipped and hit, and the other guy is going to be like, "Oh, that's all you got." Garcia said he wanted Fundora at 154. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, I'd watch that. He was calling him out and then said, "No disrespect to Fundora." Yeah, I'd watch that. I'm just hoping Garcia stays focused. Don't get into the party lifestyle. Keep your focus on the Most High, and he should be just fine. If you're gonna try to get in the opponent's head, still, have limits on what you say and how you carry yourself. Because once you say it, it's out there. The footage is documented. Old George Foreman versus Razor Ruddock. I got George. George's chin was better than Razor Ruddock, and despite how hard Razor Ruddock punched, George punched harder. Yeah, I got George by knockout. Still like to have you on the show, Mister Donovan Ruddock, but I got George. Big George Foreman. Garcia bet on himself 2 million, made 12 million. Man, on just a bet, man. Like Showbiz won like 15,000 last night betting on Ryan. He even predicted Ryan would knock out Devin Haney when he saw the weigh-in. Chinchilla said Ryan needs to get right back in the gym with Derek James. Right back in the gym with Derek James and keep working and improving. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he don't need a bunch of time off and you know, no partying. Just get right back and take a week or two off, but don't get crazy with it. Stay away from the smoking and drinking. You know, read your scriptures, get your head right, and get right back in the gym. Right back in the gym. When you have fighters like that, that's what Customato did. He kept Mike in the gym. He knew if he had too much time that, problems would happen. And when Customato left this world, you saw what happened to Mike Tyson. So discipline is the gift that keeps giving, and some people have a harder time with it than others. Um, it's more so just doing what you got to do and not sitting there and thinking about it too long, like, oh man, and then you talk yourself out of it. Just do it before you talk yourself out of it. That's what sets you apart from everybody else is, you can do the hard things that everybody else can't do. And that's one to grow on. Chinchilla says, help Martin prepare for Tank. Yeah, when is that fight with Tank and Martin? Steincourt says, few rounds I was bored. How quick a fight can ignite. what I liked about Ryan, he didn't rush his attacks. They were more calculated. He looked like he could have done 5 more rounds. I think he could have too. Like I said, when you're fighting a guy that you know can't, I mean, he said he felt a hook from Devin, but that was like one hook out of the whole fight. It gives you energy. You start feeling confidence that you didn't even have before, just based off what you see happening to your opponent. So, yeah, man, a fight can turn around. I think Devin, like I said, was really intimidated by Ryan, and of course, you're not going to say that publicly. Bon Scott says, "Evening, Jay Roos in the chat. What's up to you, Bon Scott in Scotland in the building, y'all? Scotland is in the building, and we're just talking some Garcia and Haney." I think Devin Haney might have needed the bodybuilder Lee Haney because Ryan Garcia was out muscling him. Blu-ray says, yeah, me and Tony from Tony's Reviews were talking about if Customato had stayed alive, that Mike Tyson, it'd have been hard to beat Mike. Had Customato lived, Tyson would have never gone off the rails. He lost focus. Yeah, he started getting into women, and once you start getting into women, it's hard to come back from that. Bon Scott said it was a bit too early hours for me, but caught some highlights. Looked like Garcia was too big and too strong for Haney. Yeah, that's exact. You got the gist of it. He was too big, too strong, too fast. I think he had Devin a little bit intimidated. So you got half the battle won if you got your guy intimidated. That's how Mike Tyson used to win most of his fights, because he looked so physically imposing that half the dudes was scared before the first bell even sounded. So yeah, Haney just he might want to stay away from Ryan. Stallion Coy says Clarissa Shields looked mad last night after the fight. I think she lost a lot of money on betting. Also, Jake Paul lost a bit too, judging by their expression. Yeah, I saw a tweet that Clarissa had put out there saying something like, "How's Devin gonna get hurt in the first round?" or something like that. So yeah, you can get pretty emotional when you got some money on the line. That's facts. So that's one of the reasons y'all out there that watch me and don't subscribe, y'all should subscribe, because I'm right over 90% of the time when I pick a fighter. I can't even think of the last fight I was wrong. Usually I can just tell, I can just get a sense of who's going to win. And I pray about everything too. So, one to 10 shot Haney comes on. He ain't no Mike Tyson. I did my prediction before fight. When I link you later, I will timestamp it for you. Oh, that's what's up. For real. I don't really like circular theories, but it sure looks like Haney would get sparked out by, by yeah. Yeah, I always pick Tank over Haney anyway, because a boxer puncher and a dude that hits as hard as Tank Davis, what's Haney gonna do, man? We already saw the sparring footage, even though I heard maybe Haney came back later, but from what I saw, he was getting knocked all around the ring. So, and I know both guys have improved since then, but when the puncher improves, it's gonna be a long night for you. Blu-ray says you're way better than Teddy Atlas with predictions, J. Bruce. Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think Teddy bases a lot of his fight predictions based off outside things, like if he likes the guy or not. I mean, we can all be swayed because of that. Like, I just don't like how Deontay Wilder carries himself, but I'm not gonna say he's gonna lose just because of that. I have to really look at it. So I appreciate that, man. I like Teddy Atlas though, but he be saying some way out stuff sometimes. Shout out to Teddy Atlas. Stallion says, I seen how easy Loma hit him. I told K9 Boxing. He said, stop it. He ate humble pie for sure. I said, when Garcia hits, he will crumble. Yeah, K9 has to. Is that K9 from the contender? Man, I used to like the contender. I should binge watch that today. But yeah, he was wrong about that. I think Coach James even had Devin Haney predicted Haney. Bon Scott says, yeah, Tank beat him like it was Charlie Zelenov in the ring. Yeah, man. Tank just was knocking that dude all over the ring. Like, get over there, get over here, get over here. Like, ooh. And that was with headgear. So imagine without headgear. Certain guys might not be have a heavyweight body, but they hit like heavyweights. I grew up with a guy in Southeast San Diego named I'll just call him E. We call him Ed. But this dude was like 160 and he knocked out dudes that were like 280 and he was 160. Like I was like, I don't even want no problems with that dude. Yeah, bro, sub to him. He does watch alongs. Okay, man, thank you. He had his hat on, looked like Ninja Turtle after his. Oh man. Chinchilla said Garcia admitted to drinking almost every night while in camp. That's crazy considering the performance he came with. Yeah, I was wondering if he was just trying to clown Devin Haney by saying that, but if that's the case, man, wow. Imagine if he hadn't been drinking. Head was in his shell for sure. Yeah, man. Thomas Hearns had insane power. Yeah, Tommy Hearns, he had that long, lanky body, and those dudes can usually punch. Customato used to say that. He's like, it's not always the real muscle guys that can knock someone out. It's usually these long NBA Deontay Wilder type bodies. Mike Tyson, though, Mike Tyson, Ike Abuchi, and David Tua, though, they're the exception to that rule. Lennox Lewis was tall, but Lennox Lewis had size on him as well. Old El Paso was in that drink. Mama knows best. Chinchilla says Hearn's right hand was a thing of beauty. Absolutely, man. Yeah, them old fights. I like to go back and I like just watching. Like them crowds was like huge and they'd be screaming. So yeah, I like to go back and watch them old fights. Thomas Hearns was definitely a great fighter. Had Emmanuel Stewart, had that Kronk gym attitude. Shout out to Thomas Hearns. And he beat up Martin Lawrence on Martin. You remember that? Oh, Marty Marr. That was one of the funniest episodes of Martin I ever saw. Thing I used to like about watching Martin is when they break character and start laughing. It's like they probably did so many takes. They're like, "Hey, just keep it in there. Like we ain't doing another take. Just go, just keep it running." Martin used to laugh so much. I didn't see Devin Haney at the post-fight press conference. Did he go or did I just miss it? Because I'm real interested in hearing what. And he can't talk about Garcia's weight either because he weighed 160 against Prograis so Ryan didn't get the belt last night, but it makes Devin look like a paper champion. Ryan said he's going to drink beers at all his weigh-ins now. Oh, no. No, Ryan, wrong direction, man. You might have got away with it with Devin Haney because Devin Haney's not a puncher, but you might not want to do that against if you fight Tank again or Tiafimo. Stay away from the alcoholic beverages, empty calories. Maybe he's looking for an endorsement, and that's definitely not a good look for a believer or a boxer. Suspicious Haney broken jaw. Bill Haney said that his son didn't suffer any broken bones, but did he get his jaw broken? Sugar Ray Leonard is my all-time favorite fighter. Oh, Sugar Ray was a G, man. Sugar Ray, he put on a show. He was almost like Apollo Creed, and I even liked watching him on season 1 of The Contender with Sylvester Stallone. Sugar Ray's like one of those quiet types that but he got hands. So yeah, Sugar Ray, shout out to him. Great fighter. Great fighter. There's a lot of sugars in boxing. A lot of sugars. No one calls themselves sour. You notice that? But boxing showed last night. It is definitely the theater of the unexpected. I mean, I saw people doing live streams that never go live for boxing. Willie D, who pretty much talks about world events, and from the Ghetto Boys, Willie D went live. I saw MREC TV, who talks about things in hip hop. He was having people call in after the fight talking about the referee. So there was a lot more interest in this fight than I even knew. I heard the pay-per-view numbers weren't necessarily going so well, but apparently they did do pretty good. And Oscar was talking about the pay-per-view numbers will be pretty good when he goes to check the results. I'm sure their bank accounts will be looking very nice. Teddy Bruckshot in the building. He says he shocked the world. Yeah, he did. He shocked the world. And that one of the reasons I picked Ryan to win too was, it seemed like the more he talked, the more confident he was making himself. And it seemed like Devin was starting to sink and starting to feed into what Ryan was saying, He gave him that push, but I was like, you forgot about Pavel Sauer. Who in the world is that? I never heard of her. Stallion Coy, best thing Garcia did was get his older trainer, De Guzman, gone. I remember in Tank's fight, it took 5 rounds to state the obvious. Stay away from Tank's uppercut. Yeah, stay away from Tank's uppercut. Even Dillian White does not want to get hit with Tank's uppercut. Tank hits very hard. And, he might not have fought the best guys in the world, but, you see the results of when he hits a guy with a power shot. It does not end well for the opponent. Teddy Ted says, I knew he was out on his feet, was in the first round. He tricked him with that silly shell. Yeah, people keep getting on Ryan about the silly shell. And so, Ryan did his thing. I predicted he would knock Devin down, but I didn't know he's going to keep him on the canvas. Dillian White needs to retire, I think. Yeah, I was saying that. It's good to have him around, but yeah, I don't think he's going to beat no more top dudes. I just don't. I feel you on that, Blu-ray. Especially when you keep getting knocked out by the same punch. It's like, come on, man. It's getting kind of redundant. Bon Scott says he's a Czech heavyweight. Oh, no wonder I never heard him. I got a check for him. So he calls himself sour, huh? Teddy says that first left hook put Haney out in the first round. His eyes went back in his head. Ryan's hooks are something. When I saw the footage of that one fighter where his tooth went flying from the back of his mouth, I was like, oh, shoot. Wowzers. I guess if the dude didn't have in his gum shield, it might have knocked out more than one tooth. B Hop and Tank had a scuffle not so long ago, and Tank was game. Not so much B Hop. Yeah, B Hop don't want no smoke with Tank. Not at all. It's a size difference, but still. Teddy says, yes, Dillian done after the Fury performance. Yeah, he was done. Grinch says that left hook is so quick, though, you can't prepare for it. You got to adapt on the fly. That's a great point. Yeah, how do you adapt to a left hook that's so fast, even slow motion hardly captures it? And we have the greatest technology, like Showbiz was talking about, and this still was too fast for the slow motion. Yeah, that left hook is lethal. And you know one of them's getting through, even if he misses a couple. Tank may have been game, but B Hop as an old man would be a different story back in the day. Yeah, B Hop was, still in boxing shape. Yeah. Yeah, but right now, I don't, maybe he's still training. I don't know. But training and fighting, I don't know that how well he would do against Tank. Shout out to the undercard for little undercard, that little Beterbiev versus Little Ward. I didn't even see the undercard. Yeah, I heard it wasn't that great though. Man, Showbiz was on from 11 in the morning till after midnight, so he had done like a 14-hour live stream. I'm surprised he wasn't hoarse today, man. Get you some sleep, Showbiz. You earned it, man. Chinchilla says, Fury at least appears to have lost a good amount of weight for the Fury fight. Oh, yeah, he's definitely lost some weight. He's definitely lost some weight. I'm hoping he didn't lose too much weight because that weight can be his advantage if he uses it correctly. Um, he couldn't use his weight against Ngannou because Ngannou was used to the grappling and the stuff like that, so he couldn't use it against a guy like Ngannou. But I think he could use it a little bit against Usyk to slow Usyk down from all that movement and the feints and the jittering and Stallion says, when I did my prediction last night, I stated this reminds me of Cotton when he lost to Cotto, I think you mean, when he lost to Margarito with dodgy hand wraps. Everyone still classed him as unbeaten. For me, same applies to Garcia. Wow. Yeah, man. Teddy said, Showbiz is the homie, Teddy. What you talking about? Stallion says dehydration clause in the tank fight at too much disadvantage. Yeah, I was listening to Ryan Garcia. He said he kind of knew he was going to lose that fight, but he went through with it. So, lesson learned. Lesson learned. You definitely want to come in at your best because the world is watching. And when the world's watching, you don't want to look crazy. Teddy said, "Your homie, not mine. I co-signed Kurt and Bruce Gas in boxing." Man, I like Showbiz's energy. I think he's funny. He can rap. I mean, he reminds me a lot of people that I grew up with. So I love me some Showbiz, man. Shout out to Showbiz. I was watching Boxing Wave 2 yesterday. Shout out to Boxing Wave. He was saying how it was a weird fight, I guess, from all the holding. Teddy says, and Jay Roos, well, thank you, Teddy. I appreciate that. Teddy Bruck shot. To each his own, Teddy says. Yeah, man, I feel you on that. Bon Scott says, I don't think Garcia was too bothered about the title. Took the took the fine and the opportunity to show who's the better fighter. Yeah, I don't think Garcia cared either. Yeah, a lot of fighters are starting to be like, a belt, like whatever. Yeah, these belts are so political and money driven. It's like I'm not paying all these fees just to hold a belt. The world knows who's the best. I'll let them decide. Question flying about what next for Garcia: rematch Haney or Tank at no catch weight or something new. I'd rather see Garcia versus Tank rematch without the weight disadvantage because I think Garcia even beats Haney easier in the next time. Once you know you can beat a guy, you have such a psychological advantage. Chinchilla says Biz is so cool. Been watching him since he started, unbiased too. Yeah, man. I've been watching Biz for years, man. Um, yeah, I just find him super funny. He takes it seriously, but not too seriously. So shout out to show Biz the adult. What's going on with you? Teddy says I used to watch him, but he lost me permanently after the Wilder and Spence. What? Unbiased, my friend. No, I don't find showbiz biased at all. Not at all. I think he, like he says, be a fan of the sport, not so much a particular fighter. So you might not agreed with what he said, but I definitely don't see showbiz being biased at all. Stallion Coy says wins in same fashion, but early in the rematch. But it would be as big as the first. Don't. But would it be as big as the first? I don't see it. Yeah. Are you talking about Garcia versus Haney? Yeah. It probably wouldn't be as big as the first because that was a beating. Mungia, another upset. I haven't seen enough of him. The year of upsets. Yeah, I haven't seen enough of Mr. Mungia. Am I saying it right? Don't take my kindness for weakness. Don't copyright me, YouTube. I'm just getting my sing on. Chinchilla says Garcia versus Tio would be fun and crazy. Bill, yeah, that'd be the trash talking to that. That would be, man. You'd have to separate those two with some high-powered security. Stallion Coy says there was a score to settle 3-3. Now it's 4-3 and a beatdown. Garcia needs to move on. I don't think Haney would want to run it again anytime soon. Nah, he can't want to run that back. He's gonna have some tune-ups. He's gonna have to figure out how to keep dudes off of him. Shout out to Alex. Alex in the building. Ariano Luna, hope I'm not saying your name wrong. Mungia might just beat Canelo because of his youth. That's if he survives the early onslaught. Okay, I'm gonna have to check this dude out. I haven't seen enough of him, but he might be catching Canelo at the right time. Canelo doesn't have the highest punch output as of recently, and I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of me and Kurt are kind of tired of seeing Canelo. It's just like, okay, maybe you should just I mean, if he wants to fight, that's on him. I'm just kind of tired of seeing Canelo. Teddy says I'm looking for an upset with Mungia. Yeah, like I said, he might be catching Canelo at the right time. I'm gonna have to watch this dude. Chinchilla says I'm actually looking forward more for Canelo Munguia than Fury Usyk. Yeah, for some reason I'm having a hard time. Teddy says 43-0 with over 25 KO. Wow, that's pretty good. But yeah, man, I'm having a hard time kind of getting into this Fury Usyk thing. I think we've been teased with it for over a year or two. It's like, okay, just fight at this point. I'm not really hyped up about it either. I'm just not. Maybe as we get closer, sometimes I feel hyped up about it, and then other times I'm like, what if it's a boring fight? Nobody's really doing much. He says he was Johnny Tapia's golden boy before. Oh, wow. Okay. Johnny Tapia. He's a tough dude. Tough dude. He said, I'm backing him. Wow. Okay. Alex says, do I think Fury pulls out again? No, I think he's going to go through it with it because he's training so hard. And plus, he's going to have to break himself 10 mil to Mr. Turkey if he pulls out. They don't play that over there. Teddy says Canelo 63-2. That is a lot of fights. He said, now I'm sounding like Blue Blood Sports. Blue Blood. Shout out to him. Blue Blood. Where I grew up, Bloods didn't wear blue. They wore green, burgundy, black, and gray, but no blue. No, I'm joking. I always wondered, was he a cop? They call cops blue bloods. No, I'm saying like hard. 5'9" with 63-inch arm reach. Yeah. People laugh out loud. Alex says, you think Turkey will make Crawford versus Boots? I think he's working on it. I do believe he's working on that. It's like Turkey keeps his ear to these boxing streets and he hears what people want to see. His favorite division, I believe, is the heavyweight division, but I believe he takes notice to the fights that everybody wants to see. So that would be a huge fight, and it would do big numbers. Alex says I'm rooting for Boots. Okay, I'm a Crawford guy myself, but yeah. Chinchilla says really want to see that fight before Crawford gets too much older. Yeah, it might happen. It might happen because what Turkey wants to see in the ring, Turkey seems to get. Usyk gonna feel like Dubois did against him. Fury will have a similar. Yeah, I think Fury's gonna go to Usyk's body because Fury was telling Joshua to do that in the rematch. He told him just go to his body. That's Fury's appears to be Usyk's weak point. Usyk gonna feel like Dubois did against him. Fury will have a similar ref to the one in the Garcia fight. Well, it's gonna be a suspect ref. You hit Usyk low and be like, nope. I mean, I know it looked like it was on the kneecaps, but nah, that was all good. Keep fighting. Walk it off. You'll be all right. One of those refs, huh? Yeah, I hope there's no funny business because I know how bad Mr. Turkey wants to see Fury and Joshua, but just let the guy win. Don't do any weird stuff. Usyk might just need a knockout to get a draw. Yeah, really, it's like you knock him out, dude sleep for 5 minutes after the fight. Up, draw. New rule where they came up with the new undisputed belt. Well, we got new rules too. You knock a guy out if he's only out for 5 minutes, it's a draw. He has to technically be out 10 minutes for you to get the victory. New rule. Prince Turkey's rules. Bon Scott says Boots has an inflated record. He's not exactly covered himself in glory. Yeah, but a lot of guys, when they're coming up, they fight guys to kind of make themselves look good and be marketable. So we'll see. We'll see if he's as good as everybody says he is. I don't think I'd want my first test to be Crawford, though. I might want to test somebody with some skills first. Alex says you saw Turkey kissing Fury's butt in the press conference. People think he's fooling Fury into the fight. Yeah, he really wants the fight. Like when he told Ngannou that he wanted Joshua to beat him. I'm like, man, sure you want to be saying this publicly? Does anybody know how much is De La Hoya's share of the Garcia Haney revenue? No, I don't know. I know it's gonna be. I know it's gonna be beautiful. It'll be beautiful. It'll be beautiful, real beautiful. That's how. I don't know if you guys ever listened to Lil C's used to rap with Biggie. He didn't know how to say beautiful. He would say beautiful. I'll be the most beautiful. Bon Scott says if it goes to points, Usyk loses. Fury versus AJ is a bigger fight, more marketable. I'd rather see Fury AJ all day. I just think Usyk is gonna win though. But definitely rather see Fury AJ than AJ Usyk again. Some people say Usyk would retire if he beats Fury, but then they got a rematch, so I don't know if he'd retire after the second fight or the first fight. Eddie Hearn was saying it was a draw. It looked like he'd been crying in the post fight. Garcia called him, but they shook hands. Garcia said, "Take my son serious now." Wow. Yeah, I know Eddie Hearn was talking about Garcia was going to quit. That didn't happen, Eddie. I still say Eddie Hearn should be the next James Bond. And that, yeah. Great question, Alex. Great question. He says, you think the 2020s will be like the 80s with the four kings? It's looking like it now. I think it might be. I'm excited about this current crop of heavyweights. Not so much the American heavyweights, but fighters from the Ukraine and Russia and New Zealand. So the heavyweight division is looking pretty stacked right now. I think we'll look back at this current crop and be like, man, we had something real special, real special. I don't see the next crop of guys bringing that same excitement. I just don't. I don't see it. Hopefully, they can prove me wrong, but I don't know. Y'all got any final questions? I guess I'm gonna go get something to eat and see if I can get any more Garcia Haney talk. Stallion says Mike Tyson went to see Garcia after the fight and he's looking well. Tyson, no mobility issues, but I did notice Roy Jones' mobility problems last night. I'm trying to read the rest. Limping as he brought fighter to the ring. Oh, Roy Jones is limping, huh? I know Roy likes to play a lot of basketball and run, so he might have messed up his ankle. I saw Mike Tyson sprinting recently. I was rooting for Jared to improve, but man, he makes it hard to root. Let me see what it says. I was a big Jared Anderson guy too, and then when I saw certain interviews, I was like, oh, your head's not in the right place, Mr. Anderson. Stop thinking about money in the street life and focus on your career. I was rooting for Jared to improve, but man, he makes it hard to root for him with all the BS he's talking. I don't understand the current mind state of the American heavyweights. I don't know. I see Andy Ruiz has a fight, I believe, coming up in August. Not sure who, but these American heavyweights are really disappointing. A lot of them don't even look physically imposing. Jared Anderson, he's got a good build, but a lot of these guys just look like they train whenever it's convenient, man. Not all year. There's no off season to boxing. No off season. You want an off season? You should have gotten the NFL or the NBA or MLB. But there's no off season in boxing. As I lean back. But I think I'm gonna get on up out of here. Thank you all for watching. If you choose to become a member, you won't regret it. Thanks for watching. Alex says, how does Shakur versus Ryan go now? My boy says Ryan now. I still got Shakur. That's a tough one, man. I got to think about that. Shakur, if Shakur can take his punch, then Shakur would outbox him. I just don't know if he can take his punch. Stallion says, well, I'll catch you later, bros. You think that link with the guy I went on last night? Oh, yeah, I checked that out, man. Yeah, go ahead and send that link out. Send that link out. But thanks for coming in, Stallion Coy, Alex Chinchilla, Ada Ray, Bruce Gas, Tony's Reviews. Like I said, go subscribe to my dude, Sports Prediction 101. Gave me a trophy on there. I appreciate that. Good looking out. Go subscribe to his channel. Make sure you subscribe to my backup platform in WJ. There's a couple other NWJs, but I'm the real one. So you might have to type in WJ Boxing to find it. But thanks for everybody that came in. You guys never cease to impress me with your boxing knowledge. Y'all teach me stuff I didn't even know. So I appreciate that. And remember, Yahweh Yeshua reigns supreme. LSR forever. Be fearless. Yay.